The pyramids stand ancient sentinels over endless dunes, massive, unyielding. They've watched the desert for millennia, their secrets buried deep in stone. For centuries, no one could read their story. Egypt was a locked vault, its language dead, its history a whisper in the sand. Then on July 19th, 79, a French soldier sweating under Napoleon's orders dug near Rosetta, 35 miles east of Alexandria. He unearthed a slab, black basalt, heavy as a man carved with 3 scripts, Greek, Demotic, and hieroglyphs, the Rosetta Stone. It was the key, a bridge to a lost world, unlocking a civilization that stretched back 5,000 years. Scholars like Champollion pored over it, cracking the code by AIM 22. And suddenly, Egypt spoke again. Its kings, its gods, its people. Herodotus the Greek, who walked these lands in 450 BC, called Egypt the gift of the Nile. He wasn't wrong. The river, a blue vein through a scorched desert, gave life, water for crops, silt for soil, a lifeline for a nation. It carved Egypt into 2: Upper Egypt in the south, a narrow strip to Aswan, and Lower Egypt in the north, where the delta fans out to the sea. Around 3100 BC, a king named Narmer bound them, forging a single realm under a double crown. Tonight, we walk that path through the mud of the Nile, the glory of pharaohs, the fall to invaders, 1 hour through time's dust to hear Egypt's hard, eternal song. The Nile is everything. It floods each summer, black water spilling over its banks, leaving behind a gift of dark, fertile silt that hardens into fields. This mud, rich as blood, turned hunters into farmers, nomads into villagers. In the Paleolithic, 10,000 years ago, they roamed with arrows and harpoons stitching skins. Carving bone by the Neolithic around 4600 BC, they were planting carbon-14 tests on silos near 𝘕𝘢𝑚 corn and barley harvested and stored in clay jars. Reeds from the marshes became huts, their walls packed with mud roofs, thatched against the sun. Villages grew small, tight clusters along the river, where the air smelled of wet earth and fish. The Nile shaped the land itself. In Miocene times, millions of years back, it cut its valley, dividing Egypt into 2 realms. Upper Egypt stretched south to Aswan, a thin ribbon of green hemmed by cliffs and desert. Lower Egypt sprawled north, where the river split into the delta, a fan of 7 branches dumping into the Mediterranean. The delta's marshes teemed with birds, fish, papyrus life in every ripple. Between these lands, the river was a highway, a vein of trade and travel. Its floods, a calendar for planting. Around 3100 BC, King Narmer. Some call him Menes, saw the strength in unity. He came from Upper Egypt, likely Thinis, and marched north, conquering the delta. He married 𝘉𝘓𝑚, a delta princess, sealing the bond with blood. His crown told the story. The white Hedjet of the south, the red Desheret of the north, combined into the double Pashent. He was the first to rule the 2 lands, his name scratched on a slate palette. A warrior king with a mace raised over a fallen foe. Before Narmer, the pre-dynastic world left no words, only echoes in the dirt. Archaeologists name these times by their sites. Fayum, Merimde, Badarian, Nakada. Fayum, southeast of Giza, cradled a vast lake 9,000 years ago. Its people hunted geselfished catfish, grew wheat and domesticated goats, their reed homes hiding underground granaries. Merimde on the delta's western edge, 5000 BC, left pottery and sickles, signs of farmers who knew the seasons. The Badarian further south lived in tents, but buried their dead with care beads and pots for the afterlife. Naqada I and II followed 4000 to 3200 BC. Their homes: more solid mud walls, hearths, courtyards. They traded with Nubia, their art blooming with animal motifs, their dead mummified by the desert's dry heat. Hieroglyphs appeared scratched on bone and clay, the first whispers of a written tongue. Life was raw floods, could drown a village, drought could starve it, but the Nile gave enough to build a world. Narmer's unification 3150 BC birthed the early dynastic period, the first dynasty of a united Egypt. He ruled from Thebes, maybe Hierakonpolis, his armies pushing into Nubia and Canaan, his builders raising the first great tombs. His son Aha followed, 3100 BC, say expanding trade. His name on ivory tags, 𝘠𝘓 next ruled, long his tomb at Abydos, a necropolis of mud brick, later limestone. A city of the dead for kings. Den, around 29 to 90 BC, was the greatest of the first dynasty, reigning 50 years. He wore the double crown proof of unity and built grand his tomb, held treasures, his name on seals. He fought in the Sinai, brought wealth, and left art that sang of order. The second dynasty faltered. Anedjib, Semerkhet faced revolts, their records thin. Hotep-Sekhemwi closed it to 2670 BC, his name meaning two powers at peace, a hope more than a truth. The third dynasty rose with Djoser 2667 BC, a king of vision. His vizier Imhotep, a sage architect later deified, changed the world at Saqqara. Before kings rested in mastabas, flat-topped tombs of mud brick, sloped sides guarding the dead, Imhotep stacked 6 mastabas each, smaller, into a step pyramid 62 meters tall, the first of its kind built in stone. Its limestone glowed, carved with reeds and trees, a stairway to the gods. Beneath a maze of tunnels hid Djoser's body, and treasures meant to thwart thieves. It didn't. Robbers took all but a mummified foot, found centuries later. Imhotep's genius made him a legend, worshipped as a god of medicine. Rival to Greece's Asclepius, Djoser's reign 20 years saw peace art and campaigns to Sinai. His pyramid a symbol of a king's divine reach. The Old Kingdom 2686 BC was the age of pyramids, the 4th dynasty. Its peak Sneferu, first king built 3. At Meidum he tried a true pyramid, but its casing slipped on sand crumbling into a tower amid rubble. At Dashur, the bent a pyramid rose at 55 degrees, too steep. Midway, they shifted to 43 degrees, giving it a crooked spine. Sneferu learned, and his red pyramid also at Dashur stood firm at 43 degrees, 105 meters tall. Its reddish limestone glowing white casing, long stolen. His son Khufu 2589 BC went bigger. The Great Pyramid at Giza, one of the 7 wonders, took 20 years. It's 3 million blocks, hauled by workers, not slaves as some claim. During the Nile's floods, when fields drowned, farmers worked for pay-fed bread and beer, 3 rations a day. Khufu's vizier Hemiunu oversaw it. His tomb nearby the pyramid aligned to cardinal points, its passages a mystery. Some say ramps, others cranes, but the Egyptians left no blueprint. Khafre Khufu's son built the second Giza pyramid, and the Sphinx a lion's body with a king's face guarding the plateau. Menkaure next built, the smallest. His reign, strained resources dwindled, power shifted. Viziers and bureaucrats held Egypt together, but the king's grip weakened priests gaining ground. The Old Kingdom fell 281 BC into the first intermediate period. Memphis, The capital lost its hold. Nomarchs, local governors ruled their regions, ignoring the king. No more pyramids rose. The workforce scattered. The treasury bled dry. It wasn't chaos, just a new order. Provinces governed themselves. Trade flowed, life went on. In Thebes, 𝘁𝘓𝑚 125 BC, called himself Great Overlord, defying the north. His heir, 𝘉𝑚𝑒𝑛𝑡𝑢 II, 2055 BC, finished the fight, crushing Heracleopolis, uniting Egypt, starting the Middle Kingdom. Senusret I, 1971 BC, of the 12th dynasty, built strong temples, canals, and a dike at Fayum to trap floodwater. Amenemhat III. 1860 BC, fortified Nubia dammed the Nile. His labyrinth at Hawara a marvel. Sobekneferu, 1807 BC, ruled as queen, the first since Mernith, her reign brief but steady. The 13th dynasty faltered. 1802 BC, the north slipped. Hyksos-Semitic invaders took the delta, ruling from Avarist Nubians, pressed from the south. Thebes, caught between 𝐏𝐞𝐫𝐬𝐶 1555 BC, fought back, his inscriptions bitter. Pay taxes to Asiatics. His brother Ahmose, 1550 BC, drove the Hyksos out, chasing them to Syria, raising avarice. The new kingdom began. 1550 BC, Egypt reborn. Thutmose's fortified borders. Thutmose, 1520 BC, conquered Nubia. His sword bloodied with their king. Hatshepsut, 1479 BC, ruled as regent, then king. Her expedition to Punt brought gold, ivory, myrrh. Her temple at Deir el-Bahri, a jewel. Thutmose III, 1458 BC, forged an empire, 17 campaigns from Syria to Nubia. His victory at Megiddo carved on Karnak's walls. Amenhotep III, 1386 BC, ruled a golden age, art, wealth, temples. His son Akhenaten, 1353 BC, broke tradition, worshipping only Aten, the sun disk, banning old gods, moving the capital to Amarna. Tutankhamun, 1336 BC, just 9, restored the old ways. His tomb, a time capsule found 1922. Ramses II, Tutumnun, 12th fought at Kadesh, 1274 BC. Against Hittites, 20,000 men clashed. A draw turned to triumph. In his tales, he signed the first peace treaty, built temples at Abu Simbel, his name on every stone. The new kingdom faded. Ramses III, 84 BC, beat the Sea People's raiders from the sea, their origins lost. He ambushed them on the Delta Arrows, raining on their ships, burning them. But the cost broke. Egypt strikes at Deir el-Medina, 1159 BC. The first in history, workers unpaid. Walking off priests of Amun grew fat, kings weak. The third intermediate period, 1077 BC, split Egypt. Tanis ruled the north, Thebes, the south, Libyan kings like Shoshenq. 943 BC, tried to revive glory, raiding Judah, Cushites from Nubia led by Pihay. 747 BC, took Upper Egypt, their capital, at Napata, Egyptianized. The 26th dynasty, 664 BC, brought a last gasp. Psamtik reunited Egypt. Necho II built a Greek fleet. Amasis II, 530 BC, thrived, temples rising again. Persians struck 525 BC Cambyses II, conquering Darius, those ruling gently, rebuilding shrines. Alexander came 332 BC, then Ptolemy's Cleopatra, the last falling to Rome. 30 BC, Egypt's crown passed, but its heart beat on the Nile. Still flow sacred Coptic prayers echo in churches. The old tongue in Arabic's weave. Cairo's Parades 2021 moved mummies to museums. The Avenue of Sphinxes reopened in Luxor. New cities, rise highways cut through desert. The grand Egyptian museum waits. Tombs are found yearly, maybe another. Tutankhamun sleeps beneath the sand. Egypt's mystery holds a song of grit, and God's sung for 5,000 years. The hour fades, but Egypt's story lingers carved in stone, carried by the Nile. We've walked from silent pyramids to the fall of kings, through floods and wars, the rise of queens and the weight of empires. This land built itself on mud, and will its people bending time with hands and faith. The river still runs a thread of life through desert's grip, its waters whispering of harvests, past and prayers yet to come. Tonight as you rest, hear that murmur, Egypt's voice hard-won, unbroken. Good night, and carry its dust with you.
Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, drop a comment below. And please like, share and subscribe my channel.